Hey, I'm Doree Avera. I'm an attorney at Georgia Legal Services and the Brunswick office, and I'm mad about domestic violence.
Hassandra here, and it's a beautiful day in Georgia, and we are here with Doree Avera of Georgia Legal Services here in Brunswick, Georgia. So we're excited about the information that we are going to receive from her today. We all know that as domestic violence victims and survivors, it's always good to understand and know your rights. So the first question that we have for you today: what assistance does Georgia Legal Services actually provide to domestic violence victims and survivors?
So at Georgia Legal Services, we are grant funded. We're a nonprofit, and we are grant funded. So we have various grants that help with different areas, with domestic violence being one of them. We actually have 2 grants that help with our domestic violence victims. And I work under one of our Victims Legal Assistance Network grant, is what it's called, the VLAN grant. And all the cases I do a lot of domestic violence divorce cases, protective order, restraining order type cases, custody cases, stalking order cases, child support contempt cases, if we can relate it to domestic violence. So a lot of my clients that see me in a divorce, 6 months, a year later, finds that the ex-spouse is not paying child support. So we go back to court on child support contempt. So we assist with those kind of cases as well as custody cases. We know that abusers oftentimes try to take children away. And a lot of times abusers have more financial assets than our clients do. So we legally assist providing them legal representation to get into the courts that doesn't cost anything for our legal services.
So I know that you hit on divorce, and y'all actually helped me to get my divorce. I know that a lot of domestic violence victims feel if they're in a tight funding situation that they don't have that option. So where's some sources that they can actually go to find this information?
Right, to find information about us at Legal Services?
Yes.
So a lot of our clients come to us through referrals, more so than anywhere else. We are on the internet, and I get a ton of calls from county clerk's offices, the clerk of superior court's office. We leave information about Georgia Legal Service with the clerk's office. The shelters right now in our Brunswick office, I work in 17 counties here in Southeast Georgia. So that covers 4 different judicial circuits. So in all the clerk's office, they have information about us. The shelters, I work with about 4 different shelters, and they all have information about us. Actually 5 shelters, I take that back, 5 different shelters and through my 17 counties. And the shelters provide us with clients. The shelters assist a lot. They have legal advocates, which we train through legal services to, and they're not attorneys, but they are legal advocates that can go to court with these victims to assist them to start the temporary protective order process. And then they usually refer their victims with a protective order to our office, and our lawyers will go to court for them. Like I say, our clients have to qualify financially. We're only helping low-income Georgians. So first you got to financially qualify, and there can't be a conflict. So unfortunately, occasionally, we may have represented the abuser in the past, or, there may be some reason why there's a conflict. That's the best, example I can give you is a conflict, but occasionally there are reasons that we're conflicted out from helping people. How often does this come up? Not very often. So, it's rare that these conflicts come up, but, and they need to qualify for our services, meaning that there's got to be real domestic violence involved for that. We have other grants that assist as well, but I do primarily all the domestic violence, like the divorces, the protective orders, those type of cases. But in our office, I find that often of my clients, they also need assistance with housing, which we have an attorney that assists with housing. If they're being evicted, I can't tell you how many of my clients, because like you just hit on the fact that they don't have the income and they're suffering financially, are getting evicted. They are losing their public benefits, food stamps, Medicaid, or they're losing, so we have attorneys that help with the public benefits issue and paralegals that help with that. We have attorneys and paralegals that assist with Social Security if they're on SSI or Social Security disability, that assist with those issues that come up. We also help with unemployment, oftentimes, especially during this pandemic. So many people have lost their jobs, so we can give information on that. We can assist with unemployment. Not, giving somebody a job necessarily, but, if they've lost their job for the wrong reason or something like that, we can assist them with those type of issues. So we only do help with civil cases. I have a client right now, actually keeps telling me about, criminally she wants to do this and criminally she wants to do that. And I said, well, we're only a civil nonprofit law firm. I said, we can't assist with the criminal case. So when I get somebody a protective order and the abuser violates that protective order, it will have criminal consequences. Mm-hmm. So, it's up to the client victim to call the police and enforce the protective order. We tell all of our clients the protective order is just a piece of paper, but it's a real resourceful tool because it can have criminal consequences, but it's up for the victim or my client to enforce it and call the police, to use it to have the other person arrested for aggravated assault or stalking or whatever the case happens to be. Does that make sense?
It does. And that's very great information. I know that's a lot of information that people don't know because I was actually told about it through a referral and through research as well. So with that being said, I know a lot of victims with domestic violence, they're kind of scared to ask questions or they've lost faith in the legal system. Sometimes I know I was calling the police and just doing all type of stuff like that. So I was like, I don't even know what to do anymore. So to those victims what advice would you give them just to kind of revamp hope in them that there is still hope in the legal system and that they still can actually receive some help to get out of their situation?
Right. Well, my advice is, it's never hopeless. There always is hope. There's something out there. You've got to keep climbing that ladder. And, if the police aren't working for you, then there's somebody above that patrol officer, whether you're going up the command, whether you're going up to the sergeant or the commanding officer or the sheriff. Wherever you're going up to get the help you need. Because I hear a lot from my clients that, they feel like they didn't get help from the police or the police have come so many times, they're throwing my client victim in jail too. And we see a lot of that. But just because you've gotten thrown in jail because he's accusing you or she's accusing you of abusing and you're the one being abused, because that often happens, that doesn't mean you can't get help out there, that there's not help for you. So I encourage all my clients to try, to reach out. And at Legal Services, we don't just provide the legal work, we try to give people with some resourceful information. So like I said, about all these other informations that's out there, we try to tell you, there are others, there are benefits out there for you. There's housing, there's different stuff you can do. The shelters are also very resourceful. The shelters all have nonprofit income as well, but they can help these victims to help find them housing, help find them jobs, help find them childcare. That's what I hear a lot from my clients is they're very concerned. They're afraid to leave because they're financially dependent. They have children. Mm-hmm. And it's hard when you're beaten down so many times, you don't want to leave that relationship. And I can't tell you how many clients I have that find themselves in a second domestic violence relationship and they're on their second or third divorce because this keeps on happening. And it's unfortunate, and I encourage people to get out, that nobody should be treated like that. And I was telling a friend recently that it's not worth it. It's not worth being in a bad marriage, and putting your children through that and seeing all that. It's much better to be single than to be in that type of situation, to get out and get free. There's something to be said about that. So, I encourage everybody to call somebody, whether it's calling us or a private attorney. If you're low income and you don't have the means, please reach out to Georgia Legal Services. We do have attorneys all over the state. And in Atlanta, our component is Atlanta Legal Aid, which they serve the 5 metro counties of Atlanta. So there are resources in the state of Georgia.
And there you have it, some amazing information that there is hope. There is help out there, and there are people who are willing to help no matter your financial situation. And I'm pretty sure if they do go above the financial line that you have, there's referrals or people that you can refer them to as well, correct?
That's correct. And we do have some attorneys that are private attorneys that do pro bono work for us as well. We have some panels of attorneys that we refer some of our cases. So some of our cases that come to us, we have grant money that do that. We also, and I do want to mention one last thing, at Legal Services over the last couple of years, I would say probably I've been back working here since 2018. And we have what's called the Survivors United grant. And we get it from time to time. We don't have any funding for it now, but it's, it keeps getting refunded, and then we spend the money and then it gets refunded again usually, but it's some time period. And this Survivors United grant helps us give money, not actual money, but it's usually somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 that we can pay benefits for our clients. So what happens is we have a navigator, paralegal, that works with my clients, the victims, and let's say they need money for housing, and they need a deposit money, they need first month's rent, they need last month's rent, they need a security deposit, they need, a deposit for the electricity or to get things open. So this is money that can be spent for their benefit. So they don't actually get a check with this money, but what we do is the money is spent to pay a landlord or the housing authority or, whoever, to get them out of a bad situation and to get them to move forward into housing with security of, getting things started, because it's hard. Sometimes we can pay moving expenses. So all those things are very difficult on our clients. And it's something that, we try to see happens. Like I said, we don't have the money right this minute, but we do get it from time to time, usually throughout the year. Many times we have that money, and that's something that we can try to get for our clients.
And that's actually an amazing grant, because I took part in that grant. When I left my domestic violence situation, I left with 2 kids, my car, and $37.50 in my bank account. So that grant actually allowed me to get back on my feet. It's been 3 years now, and the traumatic transformation in life has been amazing. So I'm grateful that you took the time to come out and give this information to everybody. It's been helpful to me, and I'm sure it will be helpful to you. We're going to display the website under the video. And thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.